Well, the story of the Magi begins as all good stories do. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, in the midst of the ordinary, the Magi, some of the earliest perplexed by the unknowns of the sky, are pondering away. Perhaps their intrigue began as they sat on their back porches gazing out into the night, or as they wandered in the fields taking in the wonders of the heavens. Or maybe their epiphany began in a moment of loneliness, hoping for the keeper of the stars to draw near to them. However it started, perplexed, amazed, and desperate, they began to study. You see, the stars have baffled humanity for centuries. The earliest evidence of astrology is from Babylon in 1800 BCE. And with modern-day space exploration, we know that the mysteries of the stars continue to hold humanity captive. Perhaps it's the silence, the darkness, the endlessness, the unknowns, the beauty, the distance, the sheer nothingness, and yet the sheer somethingness. The stars, well, they call to us, they beckon to us, and they have the ability to give us the gift of the Magi, to remind us that we are not alone, and to remind us that we do, in fact, belong. Taking in every mystery, trying desperately to unravel the unknowns of the universe, watching and waiting, hoping for a breakthrough and looking for the signs of the time, the Magi's curiosity spurred them. They gazed constantly into the unknown, into the nothingness, not expecting the miraculous, but just hoping for a slice, a sliver of comprehension. The stars? Well, the stars called to them. The skies spoke to them, and ultimately the mysteries of the heavens moved them. Now, we're familiar with the stories of the mysteries of the heavens. Every children's Sunday school class has told this story. Angie can attest to this. And that story goes a little something like this. In the very beginning, there was nothing. Nothing to hear, nothing to feel, nothing to see, only emptiness and darkness, and nothing but nothing. But God was there. God was with the nothingness, and God's love bubbled over, drawing light from the darkness, creating the sky and the land and the seas, taking the emptiness and filling it full, leaving none of the canvas blank, but rather making each corner home to the birds of the air, the fish of the sea, and the creatures of the lands. But there was more than just the glories of Earth's flora and fauna, and more than humanity's best rationales can ever hope to explain. "Hello, stars," God said. "Hello, sun. Hello, moon." And whizzing into the darkness came fiery globes spinning round and round, whirling orange and purple and golden planets. And God said, "You are good." And they were. So very, very good, and so very, very mysterious. And with such a greeting, the mysteries of the universe were born. Several years ago, I had the privilege of spending a few weeks in Brazil, living on an open airboat on the Amazon River. By day, the humanitarian group that I was serving with traveled village to village, offering medical and dental care. And by night, we would sleep in hammocks as the boat hummed through the waters, taking us to the next morning's first stop. After a few nights on the boat, I discovered the trick to finding silence on a boat teeming with tons of people: to be awake in the dead of night. Each night as the team slept, the boat would travel upriver, the loud engine often being the noise to put you to sleep. But But if you held your eyes open long enough, you would find yourself face to face with God. So I would hold my eyes open, listening to the snoring coming from the hammock right next to me, and I would wait, listening for the boat engine to cut off, for the crew to drop the anchor. I would wait, watching for a glimpse of the divine, and each and every time, I felt the presence of God ever so near. The silence was deafening. All were resting, and I would make my way stumbling to the top deck, and I would feel the weight of the darkness. There was no electricity, no street lights blocking the view, no TVs disrupting the quiet. It was just me standing on a boat in the middle of the Amazon rainforest, trying to determine where the star-filled night met the dark, calm river waters. And I couldn't. I looked for hours, for days, noticing all the differences of the Southern Hemisphere stars, taking note that my beloved Big Dipper and Little Dipper were not in sight, and then wildly staring at the 4 stars in the shape of a cross that make up the Crux constellation only seen in the Southern Hemisphere. Each night, this blanket of stars probed me to hold my eyes open, to be patient in my looking. Each night, these stars shone bright. They gave light to the darkness around me. They swallowed me whole. And yet somehow, the mystery of them comforted me. They held me, reminding me that God was with me. Perhaps the Magi spent hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades, staring at the stars and experiencing the same weight of their darkness. And maybe, just maybe, they too felt the comfort like I had felt of the stars' mystery. Because the marvel moved them. Searching high and low, the Magi traveled. They had seen the star, bright and bold, proclaiming freedom for the captives and healing for the sick. Yet, did they realize? Did they know the power the star held? Did they understand the mystery they were soon to behold? After all, they were outsiders, foreigners, and strangers looking for a child born king of the Jews. So what right did they have? They had come from afar, from nations and lands far, far away. They had heard the horrors, yes, of King Herod's reign, but they did not personally know the depths of his terror and the brutality of his fear. No. They held no right to meet this heaven-sent child. The color of their skin, the make of their clothing, the accent of their tongue solidified that, well, they didn't really belong in the birth narrative of the King of the Jews. Yet, here they are. Here they are. All because a star so bright had entered their darkness, entered their nothingness, and all because they were brave enough and bold enough to venture into the mystery, to venture into the unknown, to look for something bigger than themselves, and to see if they might come face to face with God. In the midst of their ordinary, light emerged from darkness. Light so bright its abnormality piqued their curiosity. Light so bright they could no longer sit just waiting. Light so bright it kept their feet moving and their eyes looking. Light so bright they knew instantly that their watching was not all for nothing. And light so bright its mysterious beams proclaimed home. Home for the stranger. Home for the foreigner, home for the outsiders. Light appeared, and it knew no boundaries. It simply beckoned to the deepest part of their human being. I wonder this morning what it's like to behold such a great light, one that freely enters my darkness, one that freely enters my fear, my loneliness, my confusion, my desperation, my nothingness. And once there, boldly proclaims, "Let there be light." One that is brimming with love, and one that reminds me that I am not alone. You see, the gift of the Magi for us, it holds no traces of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Rather, the gift of the Magi is found in the signs of wonder their story of the ordinary holds. And I wonder this morning if we might be in need of the Magi's light, if we might be in a space of ordinary, constantly perplexed by the unknowns and desperately looking for an understanding of the miraculous. And if so, I wonder what it might feel like to experience a light so bright it prompts us to our feet and prompts our feet to keep moving. Because after all, the Magi were just existing within their ordinary, just existing within their normal nothingness. And the star appeared to them. And then the star continued to appear to them, continued to appear to those that Jesus' own thought didn't belong. But the light appeared, and it was so very good. And they knew, the Magi knew, I venture to believe, that in that moment, when the light appeared, that instantaneously they knew that God was with them. You see, if the gift of the Magi is to remind us that we are not alone, and to remind us that we do in fact belong, I think it means that you and I, me and you, we all have to hold our eyes wide open, peering into the dead of night, waiting, and watching. Because the star of mystery, well, it tends to appear in the ordinary. And the truth is we have to be awake to see it. For in the very beginning, there was nothing. Nothing to do, nothing to mend, nothing to be. Only potential and possibility and hope. Oh, the hope. But God is there. God is with the hope. And God's love bubbles over, drawing light from within, creating lighthouses of guidance and beacons of hope, taking us, each and every one of us, and filling us full, poking holes in our canvas, teaching us to be bearers and benders of God's light shining through. But there's more. Oh, there's more than just the glories of kindness and sight, and more than our best rationales can ever try to explain. Hello, God says. Hello, people of the mystery. Hello, people of the light. And instantly, stirring from deep within each and every one of us, stirring from deep within all God's creatures, belonging sets in. And God says, you are good. And you are mine. This year, as we gaze at the heavens, looking for our own glimpses of light, May we be more faithful to be bearers of the light, so that those looking from afar, those we often think don't quite belong, those enamored by the mystery of it all, so that those who are looking for the light might catch a glimpse of the God of light shining through each and every single one of us. Friends, God is with us. So, church, let us be the light. Let there be light.